boy.
Don't turn around. Uh-oh.
Good morning. Oh, sorry.
Do what? What?
I'm sorry. Let's start over here. Good
Wait,
evening.
I thought we're waiting till everybody gets here.
Jay, it's recording. It's recording right now, Daniel. I'm trying to introduce everybody before she shows up.
Oh, okay.
Well, I thought we wait for the guest to introduce.
Do you mind?
Well, introduce her, but John wants to introduce everybody else first.
Oh, okay.
Are we ready now? Is it okay, Daniel? Okay.
I was like,
John, do the fucking intro so I can add it in.
Daniel. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting edition of that Big Beefin' Show. I am JP, and I am 1/3 of the Big Beefin' Show. And to my right is the milkman Dreadnought himself. And then to the left is the captain of our boat, Mr. Shane Rollins. Now, how's everyone doing this evening?
Doing fucking great.
All right, now I'm on the same page now. All right.
yay! That's awesome.
All right, I want to introduce everybody to Stormi.
Hi.
Hello.
Stormi's a local cosplayer from the great state of Texas, formerly known as Tejas.
Mm-hmm.
That shit got changed 150 years ago or so.
I still like Tejas. I'd rather go with Tejas.
Well, Tejas is like friendship, right? Isn't that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well. I guess that wasn't good enough for us. Stormi, cosplaying. How is that going? How did you get involved? What's up with that?
I moved here from Florida about 4 or so years ago. And when I got here, I was so impressed with how many people actually cosplayed here. Because I guess in Florida, they didn't cosplay as much. And I was a big nerd. You know, I've been reading comics since I was a kid and then watching anime. So it was a big thing. It was just a part of my life. And then I just started going to the cons here, trying to make friends. And it kind of took over my life.
Anything's better than Florida. I agree with that.
Florida's a fucking wild. That's a free-for-all in Florida. Everything happens there.
You got anacondas, alligators, all kinds of stuff.
Any crazy, bizarre story you read, 9 times out of 10, it happened in Florida.
True. I can't deny that.
Can you tell us a funny experience with Florida for yourself?
Yeah. 1 year, we had...
wait, one second, Whisper.
No
Who's
problem.
making that noise real quick?
You know who it is.
Shane, could you kick it real quick, Shane, or we gotta live with this? Because this is every time we have a guest, I swear.
Join back in, boy, when you get your fucking signal. All right.
Go ahead, Whisper. Sorry about that, lady.
All right. Now, tell us a funny story from when you were in Florida.
Okay. We had hurricanes a while back, and it was about 2 of them. One of them was a tropical storm. And we came out, and there was this canal out there, and we actually had an alligator in our pool. And we were like, what do we do? So we called, the police, and we're like, hey, do you guys need to send out animal control or anything? And no, the cops just came and grabbed the alligator out of the pool with their hands. And we were just so weirded out because we were like, I don't understand how that's possible.
Ain't alligators the most people had to wash their hands with what was it, John? Bleach and stuff because they have so much bacteria and crap like that. And they use their bare hands.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they would just hog tie them and take them away in their cars, and we were just like, okay, I guess that's normal.
That was easy.
That's a normal day for my guess. All right.
Yeah, especially during the hurricane season.
How big do you think it was?
Oh, it was smaller than me. So I'm about 5'3", so I'm thinking it was about 5'4" and 8.
Oh, hell no. Hell.
John, you got that. You knocked that out.
Yeah, get my head and bits off.
Have you seen those gator wranglers? You just go up there, you do that little tap thing.
Yeah.
Tap its nose.
Yeah, just hit them. Yeah.
Just grab it from underneath it, and you just pull it back, and you got it.
Now, Stormi, you said you watched anime. This is my question. I always ask everyone who watches anime. Do you pronounce it manga or manga?
I say manga.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We got one on our side.
Yay.
Yeah.
Stuck on that fucking half-price books, you fucking bad.
Dude, that's when you don't try to ask them anything and you just try to act like you know what you're doing and try to find it because sometimes they have no idea.
Do you get the straight up reebs, the ones that tell you, "Oh, I'll only watch it in subbed, not dubbed"? To you?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, funny story. I work with a person that works at Funimation, and for a while,
crap.
I was like, "Oh well, I don't listen to dubbed." And I met her, and I just started to appreciate her so much, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start listening to some real voice acting and give them some mad appreciation because they work hard, man.
Yeah, those voice actors ain't no joke. I heard Sam Jackson used to record there at Funimation, and he was real cool. Is what I heard. I mean, I don't know, but
Yeah.
they were branched here in Texas.
Yeah,
Daniel, did you have some questions you wanted to ask Daniel?
Oh no, you already got two of them out. What was the origin of your name? What made you decide to be is Whisper your cosplay name, or is that crap?
Okay, no worries. So my real name is Whisper, and I feel like you're good. I feel like it's so unique that people would be able to like find me a little bit more easier by that name. So I was like, when I was a kid, because I started this when I was like 16, I was like, okay, well, let's think. I was like, I really like comics, and Storm's my favorite X-Men. So I was like, I wanted to do something with Storm. And then on top of it, I was like, I really like koi fish because I remember my grandparents taking me to the Japanese garden in Fort Worth, I think it was. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I just kind of like combined those two to like show my love of like anime, but also comics. So I would be able to kind of do what I want in the end, like cosplay, comics, or anime, or games.
Interesting.
What kind of comic books have you been reading, or do you read any? Are there any special kind that you like, or?
I had a big love for, back in the day, there was a Supergirl comic book that came out that was drawn by one of my favorite artists, and I can't remember his name, but I collected that up until it started changing art style, so I guess he had a contract for so many. But Supergirl was a big one, and then I've had a lot of Star Wars. I've collected a couple of the Star Wars ones with Darth Talon and stuff like that, because I really like the art in those. I'm trying to think. I've collected a lot of X-Men Evolution, and then a lot of, I can't remember exactly which X-Men, but I have at least 125 of those in my closet. So I collected those. I remember like asking my mom just to buy one from the store because I just wanted one so bad. So
is there any
X-Men? Sorry.
Were you a fan of the 90s X-Men cartoon?
Oh yes. Oh my god. I liked it mainly because I feel like it followed the actual comics more, and I liked that a lot because that was a good story.
That intro sells the shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're all running at each other and shit.
Yeah.
In the X-Men cartoon, did you like it in the alternate version where Wolverine married Storm? Did you ever want them to continue that?
Okay, that's kind of my crack ship, so a little bit, yeah. I really liked Wolverine and Storm because I felt like, as much as Jean Grey was a great character, I felt like there was a lot of attention from the males on her, and I was like, where's Storm's love? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I felt like she needed more love in the show.
Was that when Storm was walking the Mohawk?
Oh
yeah. Yeah. In the universe.
Storm got her due. She married Prince T'Challa.
Yeah.
Falling out. Then they split up here recently.
Yeah, not everything works out, I guess, but
T'Challa got too full of himself. He's like, hey, I run this shit. This is my kingdom. And she's like, fuck you, I control the weather, motherfucker.
I think she's got a good choice, whether Wolverine or T'Challa. I was like, she's got it good either way. Like,
man.
Hell, I've seen versions where Wolverine damn near hooked up with all of them. Storm, Jubilee, Jean Grey.
Rogue. There's a couple comics. Yeah. Where he hooked up with Rogue. And even Magneto hooking up with Rogue. I was like, what is going on? I get that she's a fan favorite, but
I don't know. I've known some little hairy guys in real life, and I don't think they're pulling that. They're bringing that down.
Did you ever read any of the Ultimate comics?
I think so. I think that's the ones I had. Is that the one where she spoiler, I'm sorry. But is that the one where she ended up getting the fire power, like the flames?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah, that's the ones I collected then.
I was gonna ask, like, why did they ever in the Ultimate Verse? Why did they make Magneto's son and daughter love each other? Like that was so awkward. Why did they do that for? That was so weird.
Oh, the ultimate.
John, you got to keep it all in the family, son. Didn't you know?
That shit. And then Wolverine saw it. He was like, "Well, f this. I'm just gonna leave." He didn't do nothing. He saw it, like, okay, well, that's
Time
different.
for me to leave.
You know?
My favorite part about that comic is when when Magneto went up against the Avengers, and like Thor throws his hammer, and he's like, "Really, fucking metal hammer?" Flings that off to the side. Then Captain America throws his shield, and he's like, "Really, a disc?" He throws that off the side. Then Iron Man walks in. He's like, "You got to be kidding me! All you guys got are metal weapons, you know."
Obviously, he wasn't designed for the X-Men.
Right.
Oh no.
So let's get back on topic a little bit. What was
Stay on topic.
Yes. What was the very first cosplay you ever did?
The very first cosplay, like, I totally put together?
Yes.
Oh, man. I think it was a Naruto cosplay. A long time ago, around 2010, I was a part of my friend's Akatsuki group for a con, and I was Deidara from it, so I was like cross-playing. So that was like my first like exposure, you know what I mean? I like begged my mom for this overpriced Akatsuki jacket and stuff like that. So that was the first one, but now here we are.
What was
Did you do that little Naruto run? Did you put your arms behind you and run with
There's science to that, Shane. There's science to that.
Yeah, that's how you fucking trip and bust your jaw.
No, you go faster, man. It's how you go faster.
It's science. It's proven, Shane. Proven science. What was the latest one you just did?
Okay, so I took a little bit of a break from social media because I just needed to step away for a little bit. But the last one that I did that I was really proud of was I did a gender bent bunny suit Mr. Freeze for ANTs. So I made a whole fully boned pleather suit that I kind of went like on Hugh Hefner's bunnies, and we had a whole group for that. So that was like my most recent one that I made myself that I was really proud of. So.
Well, I was gonna say, well, what was your most proudest one you ever made? Same one.
It's a little bit of Mr. Freeze, and then I don't know if you guys know what Winx Club is, but I was a big nerd for Winx Club, and I made Flora, and I remade the corset like 3 times because it was my first time making anything like that. And I was really proud of that it actually stayed together at the con. So, because, you know, when you go there and you're like, oh, this is great, and then things start to fall apart. But that one stayed together. So I counted that as a success in the whole scheme of things.
With that being said, what was your most awkward con you've been to? Or you had trouble at?
Okay, so this is nothing against the con. This is just an experience that I had. We went to a con.
Dudes are shitbags. We know that.
Oh. Yeah. Especially, you know, I was a part of the idol community for a while, and there was a couple of creepy guys around there. But this one was when I went to a con as a guest. I was trying to be more frugal, and I was like, hey, because we had to pay for a hotel. I was like, hey, let's get a cheaper hotel and all this. And so we're driving up there. I think it was in Texarkana. And we get there, and I'm weird. I don't know if you guys do this, but every time I go to a hotel, I check under the mattresses. It's what my mom's always told me to do. So we get there, and we're like, oh, this is kind of creepy. And it's just my friend, my boyfriend, and I. So it's just 3 of us. And so I'm like, this is kind of creepy. So I check under the bed, and lo and behold, there was like a pair of needles under the bed.
Oh,
and I was like, it's 3 a.m.
Oh, goodness.
Where are we going to go? So, you know, we kind of called up the actual hotel that was provided by the con, and we're like, do you guys have any rooms possible? And they're like, yeah. So they ended up giving us like a discount for going over there and stuff like that. But it was like a nightmare because by the time we got to bed, it was like almost 5 a.m. and I had the con the next day. And I was just like, oh, this
For
sucks.
some damn Beatles?
Yeah. It was crazy. I was like, that was a bad decision on my part to try to get cheaper.
So I don't know if you've ever had an experience like this, but I had a Me Too moment, if you will. And the boys already know about this, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell it.
There.
So I went to Austin Comic Con one year. It's probably been about 6 or 7 years ago. I went as Shazam. At that time, he was known as Captain Marvel. He's now Shazam, right?
Yes.
one of my favorite superheroes, and got a custom handmade costume from the feet up. Everything is handmade. It's all sewn together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm there cosplaying and having a good time. And like surprisingly, I guess there's a local Austin like DC costume cosplayer group or something like that. So they had this dude that looks just like Christopher Reeves. Like he could be Christopher Reeves' son. Like he looks exactly like him. A little on the thin side, but looked just like him. Looked like a dead ringer. So he was there, and everybody's wanting to get photos with him. And then here's Shazam standing by him, and then they had General Zod. They had Lex Luthor. They had all these DC characters. Well, this Michael Keaton Batman guy shows up, and he had little sticks in his cape, so he could like fling his cape out, like he was looking, like all Batman and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you've probably dealt with cosplayers like this, but he was extremely loud and very obnoxious, like just in your face, high energy, like let's go, let's get a picture over here, let's do this, let's do that. And it's fine, hey, I don't judge people, do your own thing. We're just there to have a good time, I like to go take pictures, kiddos and stuff like that, just have fun, see some cool stuff. So live and let live. And we're getting this point where a lot of people are starting to take photos of us because we're all grouped up there at the entrance. Mm-hmm. And he's like, man, you're big. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, wow. He takes his hand and he puts it on my chest, on my Shazam lightning bolt. And he starts rubbing my chest. And he's like, that's all man underneath there, ain't it? No padding. And he like just slaps my chest. And like, my wife is standing right there with the camera, right fucking beside me. There's kids running around. And if I hadn't been in this setting, like I would have I'd been like, hey, back up, Jack, and it would have been on like fucking Donkey Kong, as they say. But because I was in this awkward situation, it was like Shazam can't go fucking beating on Batman right now in the middle of it. So,
no, it's canon.
Yeah, right. Now that's accepted into the storyline. But I was thinking, really, man, why you got to do that? Why are you doing this? And I'm the type of person, anytime I'm in the spotlight or anything, really just anything, my face lights up red. I can't control it. My face gets bright fucking red. So here I am in my red Shazam outfit with a red ass fucking face. This guy that embarrassed me and all these people. And I was just like, man, you ruined what would have been a perfect time. And we soon left after that because I just I didn't want to be around him. I didn't want to, because he'd follow me and do his little Batman thing. And I'm just like, man, it's not cool, dude.
I think, what's lucky for, I think, DFW is, like, now we have, like, a lot of these cons have, like, cosplays not consent signs.
Yeah.
They recently started popping up. But I think, honestly, as a female, I don't have that much anymore because of how big it is. Because, if a guy comes up and tries to take a picture with me, if he doesn't ask me, like, if he can put his hand around me, I automatically, like, step away from him. So it makes it more awkward, But with guys, I feel like, I feel like with guys, they don't have that same kind of protection, like, because guys think that they can,
Yeah, don't touch me.
Yeah, exactly. It's, I agree.
Well, and then there was another time I got a friend of mine, and she cosplays. I did this. It's kind of embarrassing. We did this movie. It's not a very good movie. But it's called The Chalice. And anyways, one of the lead characters in The Chalice, she was a friend of mine that played a wood elf. And again, costume made from the feet up. Totally custom made costume. Well, her like midriff was showing in the costume, and she had big pointy wood elf ears, kind of like your Zelda cosplay, like just like the. And so we're in the con, and I'm walking with her, and this big dude, like probably had 3 inches on me, or 360 pounds. Comes up, starts talking to her, starts hitting on her. I'm like, hey, did you see I'm fucking walking with her? Like, what am I? Am I imaginary, And he's like, you're really pretty. Are those ears real? And she's like, no, they're elf ears. They're fucking pointy elf ears. And he's like, they look real. I want to touch them. And he starts reaching out, trying to touch your ears. And I'm like, back the fuck up, Chief.
Oh, yeah.
The problem was I was dressed up like Dr. Midnight, and nobody knows who the fuck Dr. Midnight is. So I had no, all I had was that stupid little owl turning his head. That's all I had.
No, it's crazy how brazen some people will be at cons. Like, I'll have my boyfriend, like, right next to me, and they'll be, like, hitting on me, and I don't know how to react, and he doesn't know how to react, so I'm like, we gotta go. I got a photo shoot. Bye. It's really awkward, because it's, like, you would think having male friends or like a significant other would like deter people, but it really doesn't. It just kind of sometimes makes it seem like a challenge to them, and I'm like, no, please don't.
Well, I'm alpha dog, motherfucker, so I'm gonna start pissing my therapist.
Start peeing on the floor everywhere.
Yeah, right there in the fucking con. Just drop it.
This is my spot.
Dude, take it. You want to challenge me? I'll do like the frogs do and like puff up, you know.
Sometimes you got to do that, man.
Oh yeah, your boyfriend cosplays a little bit too, does he, or somewhat?
Yeah, he does.
I think when I told John and them, I was like, yeah, David did Payday 2 or Payday cosplay, which was pretty cool.
Yes, we did Payday together. He does Wolf, and I do Clover, and we actually have a Hoxton mask downstairs. And we just recently purchased. My friend did Jacket, and he made the gun from Hotline Miami.
Oh crap!
Yeah, so we just recently purchased that. So we like have like a whole wall going, and I'm like, if someone walks in our apartment, they're gonna think like we're crazy serial killers because we have all these clown masks on our wall.
Those masks are hard to get nowadays. Some of them are exclusives, are they, or you got to get them custom made?
So the two that we have, the Hoxton and the Wolf, are from the actual like website because they sell some of them. Our Clover, we got pretty lucky because around the time we were looking, I was like, I want a specific look from her mask because the one that they were selling was kind of wonky looking and it didn't look good with the paint. So we looked and we looked and looked, and we finally found this one that's made out of like some kind of plastic mold that I can't find now, but it fits my face perfectly. It doesn't look too big, but I've never seen. I think they made a Sydney one that's official, but they haven't made like a really good Clover one. So I was happy about that. I think I bought it off of eBay.
That's pretty cool.
How much? Let me ask you this. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Shane.
Okay, for all of our listeners out there that aren't into like the whole anime or manga thing, there's a character in the. I don't think she's anime. I don't think she's manga. She's like a J-pop singer, but she's not real. It's a hologram, and she's got blue hair. Do you know?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I forgot her name though.
Can't remember.
Like really big in either Japan or China. All it is like she's a singer and she's just a holograph.
But it's all. What's her name?
Are you guys talking about Miku Hatsune?
Yeah. So she's like she's built like she's not an actual person, right?
No, she's not. They actually take actors or singers that will say like a syllable or like a word, and they'll use that and put it into like an auto-tune function system, and that will be what makes the song. So they'll play like A-E-I-O-U, and then that's what goes into the song. So it's really cool. It's really ingenuitive. We actually saw them in concert twice, where it was like a concert full of holograms. So that was pretty cool.
Was it fucking sold out? Was it packed out?
No, it was pretty good. This last time it was sold pretty thick. Like we couldn't see hardly anything. But the first time we went at cosplay, which was a bad mistake. But we were able to see them and everything, and it was really good because I don't know if you guys know this band, but it's called Anamanaguchi. But it's like they have like this really sound to them. It's like old school gaming music. So if you guys haven't seen them, check them out because they have a Miku song that's great. But they kind of went really well with the set list, so it was really fun. They're really cool.
I bet my nephew Nico would love that shit. He loves it.
Yeah.
Dancing type stuff.
Well, Whisper, what would you consider your best con in your opinion, your best con you went to?
Hands down, it has to be KatsuCon in Washington, D.C. Like, that was like, we flew out there, we stayed at like a really expensive hotel that I couldn't afford ever again. But it was a hotel that had like a mini city in it, and then had like this huge courtyard that went into like the bay of Washington, D.C. And it was just amazing. And it was also the first time I seen snow because I've never seen snow at all.
What?
Like real snow?
Like real snow. Like snow that was not like, well, I lived in Florida, and then Texas we kind of had like, I don't know what you guys call it.
You got this black ice that ruins the roads and causes...
Yes, ice. But we went there and it was like snowing, and I was like, this is so cool, but I want to eat food, but now we have to run in this. But I think that was the best con because it was just inspiring, I guess, because the cosplayers there were just like next level, and I thought I came prepared, and I was like, oh man, this is this is crazy. It's almost like Dragon Con level of like anime cons, if that makes sense.
It's amazing how there's people who do it, and like then you got experts, and you got all kinds, and like I said, it's like where it started from when me and Shane used to go away, it cost like $10 to get into a con. Now it's like sometimes hundreds of dollars to get into a con now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, upwards for weekend passes now are about 60 to, it can run from 65 to at least 95 just for basic passes on the weekends. But like if you get a one day, it can even just be 75 on Saturday or something like that. The price is ridiculous because I never remembered paying that much as a kid.
I got a question for you. It's kind of weird, and I don't, forgive me if I'm going too far, but do you have a problem with people like, okay, just for example, Spider-Man has a very specific build, right?
Yes.
Spider-Man tends to be a little short. He's super thin, but he's also kind of muscular.
Yeah.
If a guy like me, who's like 6'5", 280 pounds, put on a Spider-Man costume, it's not going to look like Spider-Man. But if I did it, would that be somebody you'd be like, yeah, you're not really pulling it off, or would you care? You live and let live, or do you think people should try to cosplay more towards what they're geared for, like try to meet the shape, or does it not matter? Or
well, I'm a big believer because I'm technically considered a plus size cosplayer because of my body size, but I believe that people can cosplay whatever they want. With Zentais, with males, I definitely believe that they need dance belts in public. I think that's a big thing, but I don't think that people who cosplay technically like in quote like out of their body size should be scrutinized. I think it just depends on their like confidence and like if they wear a dance belt and underwear and stuff like that. If I look over and I'm like, he's obviously not wearing a dance belt, then I'm gonna be like, okay, I really don't want him here. But like if he's having fun and he's respectful and wears the appropriate things, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And the same thing goes for women. Like for example, when I cosplay I wear like a corset and I wear stockings and I make sure that everything's in where it needs to be. But some guys don't really have that. I guess they don't really have the ability to reach out and get that. You know what I mean? Because shapewear is geared towards women. I wrapped up
one of mine. I wrapped myself.
Yeah. You got it sometimes, man. Like, and it sucks because like you're like, man, I really want to join the con, but I also don't want to look back and be like, man, what was I thinking? So. I think cosplay's for everyone. Especially body sizes, skin colors. I think it should just be this kind of thing that like everybody just has fun. The main thing is you gotta have fun, because then if you're not having fun, then it's not fun for everybody around you. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Is it easier? Sorry, is it easier to get into a con when you're already in the hotel or you're coming in? Because I know sometimes Shane has had trouble coming. He'll just show up and he's having trouble just getting into the con. Where if you where we've done cons, we get in the hotel, you go straight down into it. Which one do you have more trouble with?
I have more trouble driving. Like if I don't stay at the con, I really prefer staying at the con. Especially in Texas, like in Dallas, I don't feel really safe in cosplay if I'm not staying at a hotel because of people harassing us and stuff like that. So I prefer to stay in the con. Because then you can just walk down, and if you're done for the day, or if you want to go change and go have fun at like the rave or whatever the case is, or just walk around the dealer hall, you have that option too without going through traffic or being afraid that someone might mug you when you're walking in Dallas. Like it's more comfortable for me, I guess.
Is it still hard for you to get like you're going? Okay, honey, let's shut it down for a day. I'm tired. Do you still have trouble like getting to the elevator? Do you still have like tons of people stop you along the way?
Oh man, I hate getting in the elevator at cons. I would rather just run up the stairs in heels. It's like that tooth pulling sometimes to get in elevators. I think getting stopped isn't that big of a deal unless I have to go to the bathroom and I have like 8 layers on and I'm like, you don't understand how long this is gonna take me to just go to the bathroom. But I just hate elevators. I would rather just like go upstairs, but sometimes you don't really have that option. But because it's so busy, and like a lot of the cons nowadays are like packed, like they're overselling their tickets, so you're trying to have fun and stuff and go places, and
Agreed. They oversell these cons, and you can't even budge, and everyone has a ticket, and you can't even get inside the damn thing half the time. And when you get in there, you either can't get to the cosplayers, you can't get to the dealers' tables, you can't get to the Q&As because there's so many freaking people in there, and 1/3 of them smell like ass.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Hygiene is a fucking problem at cons.
Now,
Yes.
this is one of my questions is we've all had that one guy. Now, I've never had a girl, knock on wood, but I remember this one guy, and I'm sure everyone's had that one guy who smelled to high heaven. Can you recall that one individual?
Yes, I was in the dealer's hall. I was strapped. No. So I was in the dealer's hall and this guy stopped us and was like, "Hey, can I have a picture?" I think I was wearing my Mary Jane Iron Spider costume back at Fan Days. And he was like, "Hey, can I get a picture?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So like, we start posing and I was like, "Oh dear God." Like I was like, just gonna hold my breath as long as I can. And like, I don't want to be rude, but I also want to be like, "Hey, they have free like deodorant over there." Like,
You should have wigged out and been like, "Clean thy filthy self.
please.
Wipeth thine own ass, please."
Oh man, I've had moments where I thought I was smelling bad because I was a part of a dance idol group that did Love Live. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but we performed outside at Acon like 2 years ago, and I was just drenched in sweat. And I was like, "Please don't touch me. Please don't take pictures with me. You don't want to smell this right now. Trust me. But just let me go change." It was so bad. I was like so embarrassed.
That's what's happened to my Batman costume. It's gotten so sweaty, I can't really wear it anymore because that latex on your face just makes you just drench in sweat.
Oh yeah.
It just gets everywhere.
Are you still part of many? I know you said you stepped away. Are you still part of many cosplay groups? Have they tried to make you come out of? You're hitting a little hiatus right now. Did that make you try to make it come back out yet?
Well, the group that I was recently in, I left, but I did recently join a new one. But a lot of the stuff that I do is within my own group because, these are people that I know that will commit to it. And I don't know if you guys know, but there's a crap ton of cosplayers in DFW, Dallas area, Denton for sure. And it's like hard. It's like there's too much selection, I think. So it's like these people will be like, "Oh, well, I could do this with someone else." And like forget about you not doing it ill-intentioned, but it's like it's just too much going on. So sometimes I really stick with my group because I'll know that they want to do it. We have similar likes, so I really want it. Like I just joined recently a new group and hopefully they stick through and we can, start performing again. But
so with that being said, did you ever have a group that was too high demand that were like, "All right, guys, if you're joining this group, we're gonna do these cons. We do these over here. We need these costumes." Have you ever had a group like someone's like the main guy or gal and they're like too controlling?
well, the dance group I was a part of was called Start Splash, and see, I like that determination because that's kind of how I am. I always like to have a goal. Like, what are we doing? But we would be like learning 6 dances at once. We would have 3 costumes in the mind. We'd be guesting at Anime Austin one weekend and then the next performing at Acon or whatever the case was. So like I really liked that because it gave me something to like work towards. It was a lot. It's a lot demanding, and sometimes people don't realize how much it is for these groups that do look put together to like go through that. So like I have mad respect to like Pro Star and Start Splash because they put a lot into it and it's constantly a hustle, So I don't think it's necessarily was too much for me. I think it just, you get to see these people at their worst and their best. And, they're your friends. And then sometimes, some days you're just like, "Man, I want to wring your neck." But like at the end of the day, you guys put out a good show, So I feel like, no, I haven't had that experience yet. Normally I'm the one that's like whipping people to like finish their cosplays on time because I'm like, they don't, I'm not going to. So
With that being said, you sound like the committed, driven one. Have you ever been in a group where you're like, "Oh well, looks like Susie didn't give a damn at all," Yes, that group of that one person just said they were gonna do something and they never did it, and they show up not knowing nothing.
oh man, yes. I mean, it happens a lot because like I said, the DFW community is so huge. So like sometimes you're like, oh, let's take a chance on this newer person and bring them into our group and try to, integrate them into like what we know and teach them. And you're like, I'll give you this one task, this one thing that you have to do. And then they don't do it, or they don't know how to do it, or they don't care enough to do it. So it's like, oh man, sometimes it's disappointing. It for sure happens a lot though.
That's kind of like when Daniel tells me to like contact a guest. Doesn't know how to do it. Shane won't do it, or just doesn't give a damn. One of those options.
Well, I know you're busy sometimes, so that's why.
And sometimes I'm not.
Have you got a chance to be in any of the cosplay? I didn't know it was a cosplay magazine until I saw it one day on the shelf. It was a magazine with just cosplayers in it. Have you had a chance to be in any of those issues or any other ones yet?
Yes, I've been in 2. One, I was recently, it was my Zelda and my Link with my friend, Brianna, who's Triforce Nerd. We did Zelda and Link, and they had a whole spread on Nintendo. So we were in that one, and I was really happy about that because I wasn't, okay, don't judge me, but I didn't really get into the whole Zelda fandom until I was older. So, because my boyfriend was like, have you ever played these games? And I was like, no. So he's like, let's start with Twilight of Spirits and then, watch all of this. So I recently got into it. So I was like really proud of that because I tried so hard to make sure that, I didn't let those people down. Even though I wish that my Buette and my Luigi would have got in there, but I'm happy with Zelda and Link because they're like the OTP of Nintendo.
Awesome.
But it's called Cosplay Realm.
It's okay. I never played a Zelda game all the way through until Breath of the Wild. That was my first one that I sat down, and I loved that game. That game was great. That's one of my favorite games. But the rest of them, I never really played. I just kind of looked at them and said, oh, that's cool. Like the theme song.
The theme song is always what makes the Zelda games and movies. So in the end game of everything you're doing, what do you want for yourself? Do you want your own cosplay group? Are you working towards something that you want to achieve, or do you just do this for fun? Like what is it for you doing this?
It's a little bit of both. I kind of lost myself for a little bit, getting stuck in the whole competition realm of like competing and, comparing myself to other people. But I think that I'm kind of come back with the mindset of like trying to have fun with it because my whole thing that I wanted to do when I started cosplaying was like I wanted to be able to bring people's favorite characters to life, whether that be between, photography, expressions, modeling, costume building, So it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of having fun, and it's a little bit of like inspiring others to remember why they love a series so much. Like, because a lot of times, there's so much going on. It's like, I don't know if you guys know something, but like Arc the Lad is one of my favorite series, and you don't see a lot of cosplays from that. So it's like, that's one that I've been like putting off because I want to do it right so people will love it just as much as I do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my brother's into that Arc the Lad stuff.
Yeah, it's a good story. Like, I watched it when I was like 14, and I've been making Hunter play it with me, and we've just been going through it, and it just brings back so much memories, So that's one of the things like I love about cosplay is like even Star Wars games. Like, played a ton of those when I was a kid, and I'm like, now I want to cosplay Bastila, and it's like kind of bringing up these old memories is really good.
Let me ask you, since we haven't talked about Star Wars yet.
Oh no.
What? Okay. Yep. So, The Force Awakens. Okay, movie. But what did you think about them just totally flushing all of the expanded universe down the drain and saying, fuck that, it's done?
Okay, that was bullshit. Let me just start because that pissed me off.
Man, tell you, yes.
I mean, there's no Han Solos. Like, I'm not familiar. I've never read one of the expanded universe books or anything, but like I know like some cool shit happens, and I'm like, why wouldn't you just do that? Why would they try to do something that doesn't make any fucking sense?
And Han and Leia had 2 kids, not one. They had 2 kids, not just him.
And one of them's a badass chick, right? She's got the fucking lightsaber and is a good pilot. And
they had 2 boys, and one was being trained to be a Jedi.
He comes in just in time.
Did John have a special guest that he didn't tell us about? Oh, it's
Aw.
his son. Sorry, my kiddo's asleep because he's sick.
Aw.
Yeah, he got a
What did he get, Shane?
hand, foot, and mouth. So he's got like broken out like all over his face, and it's sores in his mouth, so it hurts to open his mouth, and he's got sores on his feet, so it kind of hurts to walk around. So it's just miserable.
I'd be too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be quiet about it though. I'd be loud, miserable.
Yeah, he is around Sarah. Like Sarah's been just because she's pregnant right now, my wife, and she's just been like depressed and hormone pregnancy, and it's fucking crazy to live with. Like it's like I'm constantly walking on eggshells and shit.
Aw.
Yeah, and then to top it off, now we got Roger who's just miserable, and I'm going to work like because it's like, oh, I get to go to work and get away from this for today.
That's
You lucky me.
That's totally fair.
So.
Real quick whisper before John shows up. What made John notice? I remember we used to go to IkiCon. Like in 4 years, we went. Well, we went about 4 years, and we noticed the first time we went. There's a lot the younger crowd. I guess they could afford rooms or something. They were like, I think John remembers. They were like staying, like some people were staying outside, some were sleeping in the lobby. They were like a tad too young to even be there. I think police showed up.
No, police showed up because a few of them were runaways. They just took money and just left, and they just left home and went to IkCon. And was it Austin, Daniel?
Yeah, I think it was Austin.
Yeah, and they all, some got arrested because they were runaways and picked up. But when you gotta go to con, you gotta go.
Oh God.
It was wild because like the first time we went there, we actually went to a cafe. Was it a maid cafe, which was pretty cool. They had like a whole bunch of stuff. The first time we went to a maid cafe, first time, a whole bunch of stuff over there.
Which is weird, having these women dressed up as maid outfits calling you master. By the way, that was freaking weird. Yes, master. All right. That's my biscuit. Yes, master. Okay.
Even the butler. Even the butler. The one butler they had, Jeff, remember?
Did I tell you about that mental health lady that came to my job and was calling me master one day?
Oh no.
It was a mess, and I'm sitting there like, okay, I'm gonna send you to this office, and they're gonna take care of you and get you back on your meds. And she's like, yes, massa. Yes, massa.
Oh. You're like, please stop.
Please stop saying master or I didn't say massa. Because I didn't want anybody to hear that. Be like, oh, straight to it. Please don't call me master again.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so have you ever heard of this street in Japan where it's all cosplay?
Harajuku, yes. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. Have you ever been, or do you want to go, or?
I wish I could go. I want to go for sure. They do like this type of fashion in Japan that's called street fashion. And they have a bunch of different types of, I guess, like what we would consider like gothic. Like they have like gothic Lolita or sweet Lolita. Like they have different types. And I think Harajuku is like a really cool place because like these people can like dress up whatever way they want and they're like accepted. Like they're not looking at like them like, oh, those are the kids that run like Naruto. They look at them like, oh, they're really fashionable, And they have a lot of recently in Texas, they have a lot of J-pop or J-fashion runway things that are really cool. So they show a lot of that fashion. But Harajuku is sick because they sell wigs at like dollar stores, and I'm so jealous because I want that.
Yeah, we're ahead of their time over there.
One of my favorite photos from that was there was a guy who was like, I don't know what it was imitating, but it's like some kind of fantasy look, like a guy with a big old sword, but it was Ronald McDonald. And he had like anime hair, but he had this big ass fucking sword. And he was staring down at the end of the street. And on the other end was a guy equally dressed up like that, like fantasy, armored up, crazy hair, but it was Colonel Sanders from KFC.
Is that the Final Fantasy where it was Cloud and Sephiroth? Okay.
Yeah.
That shit was great. I was like, that's fucking genius, man.
Yeah, I love crossovers that are like that much attention to detail. I'm like, that's like a gold star.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Have you ever done any Power Ranger ones? We never talked about that one yet.
Has your mom done any Power Ranger ones?
Watch it. Watch it.
No, but I have a friend. His name is Kevin, the director, who is obsessed with Power Rangers. But I do remember going to a kid's house when I was a kid playing with them. But the things that I know that I want to cosplay that are like really weird, like I want to do like Code Lyoko, like Beyblade. I don't know if you guys remember the original Beyblade, but I want to cosplay from that and stuff. But Power Rangers, I never like was like, yeah, I want to cosplay that because I always remembered them being like, oh, you could be the Pink Ranger, and I was like, no. I want to be like the Black Ranger because he's like a wolf or something. Like I was like, I want to be something cooler than just the Pink Ranger. So
Yeah. I tried to talk John into going as a Power Ranger. He wouldn't do it.
I'm too robust to be
yeah.
Power Ranger.
Just be the body armored Power Ranger. Get like the plastic body armor or whatever.
I don't know if you heard this restaurant. You and your boyfriend need to check it out. It's called the Time Machine. It is fun. They got people dressed as movie stars. We saw the Black Ranger, Vin Diesel, and they played the characters pretty good. We had Magnificent. She showed us to our table, and she's like, "Here's your table," and she throws down our
Menus.
menus, and she's like, "Bye." Like she's the mean version before she got nice. I was like, "Damn, she's a meanie."
So,
Go ahead.
let's do some random questions.
Okay.
Favorite action movie?
favorite action movie, The Matrix.
Yeah, good one. Good. Favorite horror movie?
Oh, shoot. There's too many. I like The Hills Have Eyes, though. I like The Hills
Which
Have Eyes.
one? The remake or the original?
The original. The original.
John's talking like he knows about the fucking remake. Yeah.
I would have asked if I didn't know about it.
I like those psychological horrors that aren't just like, oh, here's blood. It's like, oh, there's actually something really creepy about this. But I really like Japanese horror a lot, especially Japanese horror games. I like those a lot.
Scary girls screaming and crawling through the TV and shit.
Oh, The Ring scared the crap out of me when I was a kid.
Favorite sci-fi movie?
Favorite sci-fi movie? I think The Fifth Element is my favorite sci-fi movie.
Badass.
That's a good one. What else is, I forgot the other one I was gonna ask. Favorite anime movie.
Oh, anime movie. I think I saw an Inuyasha anime movie when I was like a little baby. But I don't remember watching like an anime movie like that much. So.
Well, the hard thing with that, they broke down like that too. You got anime horror, action, side. They broke down, even though it's still broke down the same way.
And then if it's like Dragon Ball, you have like the anime series, and then you have the anime movies, which aren't necessarily tied to the series, but some of them are.
Yeah.
And it's like, good grief.
Yeah, for sure.
And your favorite TV series you enjoy watching?
Right now, I'm watching Criminal Minds, but I really liked iZombie. I don't know if you guys ever watched that, but that's a really good one. iZombie.
That's a CW show, right?
Yeah, CW. It's a really good it's placed in like current day, but it's like what would happen if like a zombie outbreak happened in one town, and what would the reaction of the world be, kind of thing. But it's like their lives as well. So I think it's a really cool show. It reminds me of like it's based off a graphic novel, I think, but it's really cool.
Are you a fan of any of the other CW shows? Green Arrow, Black Lightning, any of those ones?
I wanted to watch Cloak and Dagger. I think that's a CW, but I wanted to watch that one because I always love that. But I tried to watch the Supergirl one, I think it was, and man, it was rough.
I like Supergirl.
Oh, it was rough.
I've watched that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
She showed up in there. Mm-hmm. And Lex Luthor was in this last season, and he's like in his suit and everything.
Oh wow, that's cool. So maybe they're gonna bring out her like black Supergirl outfit, but like.
Well, it was Russian. They did the Red Sun, but instead it was the Red Daughter. They had the Russian Supergirl show up.
Oh, that's cool.
And
but the actress was just so like. She reminded me of like this Smallville way back in the day, the way his acting was like, but now, and I was like expecting it to be better, I guess. But the story writing, I think, on shows are better than the movies. Don't hate me, but I feel like you can put more information in the shows than you can do with some of the movies, because it has a series longer. I really want to watch Green Arrow though, because I love Black Canary, but I haven't gotten around to it because I don't have cable. I watch everything on Netflix and
You
Hulu.
probably should stay away from it then because they fucked that character up many times.
Oh no.
It's not historically accurate Black Canary. She's all over the place.
I saw the promotional pictures of her. I think she had like short hair or something, and I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's kind of hit and miss. I mean, it's at one point they finally got the look right, but it's just so hit and miss. And then that chick, Katie Cassidy, at one point in time, she got like super thin, like way too thin. And, I was kind of worried about her, but then otherwise, it's pretty good. It's an okay show.
I think a lot of the shows that I've seen are because of people cosplaying them. Because I'll see a Green Arrow, and I'll be like, I don't know what that outfit's from, and then I see it on the internet the next day and like a promotional thing on Instagram or something, and I'm like, oh, that's where it's from. So like Captain Marvel, like I knew her as Miss Marvel, so like that really freaked me out when that happened because I was like, what do you mean? That's the person that Rogue got her powers from. I don't know what's happening right now. But
no, I wanted to see Miss Marvel in the movie. I wanted to see her in the Warbird costume before she became Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. So when they said that they were having a movie come out with that, I was excited because I've read about her in all of the Rogue comics and stuff, and I really wanted to see her kind of do stuff. But then they did that, and I was like, I don't know what this is.
They did it on purpose because they knew Shazam was coming out, and they wanted to be like, piss on you, DC. Here's our Captain Marvel. You can shove it up your ass.
They do that a lot.
Shazam was good, though. Shazam was a damn good movie.
Yeah.
Shazam like best Captain Marvel.
Where's The Rock going to join us as the Black Adam?
He's so busy. I mean, they got to plan these movies years in advance, and The Rock's like booked for the next 3 or 4 years.
I don't blame him.
Whenever
like The Rock.
He gets an opening, he'll jump in there.
Is there a book you're reading right now?
A book?
Yeah.
I read a lot of non-fiction. Yeah. But I kind of just recently got into podcasts, so I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, like true crime podcasts. But most of the books that I read are like, I don't actually, I'm not gonna lie, I don't read a lot because I can't have the attention span. But the books that I do read are like fantasy stories and stuff like that are like about, like there's the last one I read, I can't remember the name of it, but it was about a female gladiator and stuff like that. And I was like, now I want to make a gladiator costume. And I was like, this is why I can't read books. So I'm like, stop.
So for other people who want to cosplay is not cheap, right?
Oh no.
No, it's nowhere cheap. If you had to round up, you take 3 of your best costumes, how much would each costume you think cost per one?
Through like one of my like top costumes, you think?
Yeah, you take 3 of your top costumes. How much do you think each of them cost?
So I think like if I build it, it's more. So if I started a build price, I normally estimated about $150 to $200. And then the wigs themselves, depending on the work I do on them, is like the base can be like $50 to $70 to $80, and then you have wefts and stuff like that. So that can go upwards. Like my Zelda wig I got from Amazon, but that wig I combined about 2 or 3 wigs with, and on top of it made the braid out of a wig that I made, like a braid I made. So like that wig itself was upwards about $60, $70 because of the length alone. So it's pricey, and that's not including like makeup, like how much makeup girls or guys wear, or contacts, or shoes, because that's a big necessity if you're walking around a con all day. Like the most comfort I've ever had was when I was Iron Spider, because I got to wear Converses, but most of the time women in comics or anime wear heels, so that's a nightmare in itself.
But you're not
I've always said that the nicer the cosplay is, the more expensive it is, the harder to move around it is, and the hotter it is.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Definitely hotter.
But you're not wearing no cheap Walgreens makeup, right? You're wearing makeup that's made to stay on and last all day. And
yeah, definitely. So, like, when I do my makeup, I set it at least 4 times to make sure. Like, if I know I'm going to be at a con where it's Texas and it's hot, so I have to set my foundation, set my primer, set all that kind of stuff, especially my eyeshadow, so it doesn't melt, So that's like, I mean, like my makeup alone, my collection's out of control because I started buying makeup for cosplay, and oh, I need this color, but it's not in this palette. Let me buy this other, $60-$70 palette. So it's like kind of like that whole thing of like makeup is not cheap, and especially like for girls, we wear more, but like trying to color match my boyfriend is such a pain in the butt sometimes because I try to cover his beard and try to fix his eyebrows and stuff like that, and that's stuff that I've never had to do. So I'm like, I have no idea how to fix this. So experimentation is needed.
Do you get your fabric from Joanne?
I get some of mine from Joann's because they have nice coupons, but there's also a place in Dallas called Golden Dior that has really good sales on fabric, like especially pleathers because those are so expensive. My Mr. Freeze is actually from Walmart because I was so picky about the color and I couldn't find the right pleather color. So I finally found it and I was like, oh, great. This is upholstery. Let me try to sew this. And I broke like 6 needles on it. But I was very specific about the color because I already knew, there's a chance of us getting backlash because we're doing like, bunny versions. But I was like, man, I really want to do Mr. Freeze justice because I was watching Gotham and I was like, I got to do this.
The fabrics that one cosplayer makes, I think her name's Yaya. Have you? Yeah, she makes all the good stuff, but it's expensive as hell.
I actually, my Mylene costume is made out of her stretch. I think it was one of her first stretch vinyls that she came out with. And the only thing that I've ever had a problem with is like it started turning silver rather than red. But I think that's with like age kind of thing. Yeah. But she really brought in the market for cosplay because she was the one that was like, I'm going to bring these fabrics that you don't have, like studded fabric, rather than having to hand stud something or whatever the case is, stretch vinyl. Like she was the one that really brought it out. So it's expensive, I won't lie, but I guess for something specific like that, it kind of has to have a little bit of a hefty price tag. Yeah,
my Batman cape was all her fabric. It's like 8 feet of her fabric. Is ridiculous how much it is. Fucking heavy.
Yeah. I'm making a Stephanie Brown right now, Robin costume, and all of her fabric is from Yaya Han at the moment. And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yaya damn near killed herself one time. She put a corset on too tight. Squished all of her organs. Did you hear about this?
No, I haven't heard of that, but I know that girl wears a corset. I look at her, I'm like, that's like a like you could see it in her waist. And I'm like, could you imagine walking around 8 hours and something like that? Like, that's your job. Like, you walk around in that corset.
I think they had to call the ambulance on her because she was stuck in that thing and it rearranged her, like it pushed her organs up or something.
That sucks, man.
She was trying, I think it was when she was cosplaying as Jessica Rabbit and she wanted to get cartoon accurate. Yeah.
Like the 26-inch waist. I'm like, nah, it's good. I got my waist down 1 inch. I'm good. I'm happy. That's all I want.
All right, guys, we're getting close to the end of the episode. What I want to do is everybody to list off what you want Whisper to cosplay as at some point in the future.
Oh, you threw a curveball.
Yeah. I don't know. At the top of my head, Daniel, go first. I got Timmy and
But she already did that. It was the Payday one. When I saw it the first time, I was like, "Hell, that's badass." So that one's done.
So Daniel wants a repeat of Payday.
I guess so.
John, what do you want?
Her favorite Power Ranger. I still say do the Power Ranger.
She just told you she doesn't fucking like Power Rangers.
Do the Power Ranger one. You didn't say whether she liked it or not. I just still, well, I thought we cool.
I think you can imply that she is not a fan of the Power Rangers.
Well, I like Power Rangers.
Power Ranger. He probably wants the Pink Ranger too. Sorry.
I said that.
Speaking of pink, I'd like to see an Android 21, like when she's transformed.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Or you could do the Doctor too. Either way, like before she transforms. Either way, I'd be fine.
Oh man, I've been wanting to do her too. So it's tempting.
Well, we appreciate you joining the show. Do you want to throw out any type of social media where people can look you up or hit you up, or if you're on Patreon or anything like that?
Everything. Give us everything.
Okay, so I don't have a Patreon currently, but I'm on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok as Stormi Koi. So you guys can check me out there. I have a lot of new projects coming back to, social media, so I'm really excited to show you guys those, and I hope you guys will enjoy those for sure.
Awesome.
All right, Stormi Koi, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining Big Beefin'. We're glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe I'll see you down the road at a con.
Yeah, for sure. I hope to see you guys there, and don't be afraid to say hello.
All right, always. All right,
Oh,
have a good one. Have a good one, guy.
Bring us out, Shank. Oh, well, I guess John didn't want to bring us
John
out.
said he's out. I guess
All
John banging on the door, and he's like, "I'm out. I'm
All right, yeah, have a good one. See you next time.
Bye.
All right, good night. Bye, everybody.